pantser, how do I make sure I'm hitting all of the beats, plot points, and character arcs? I love pantsers because you all are so creative and your minds are often going so fast that you don't want to slow down to plot. So I do have a couple of words of advice if you are a pantser. The first thing is to make sure that you're actually 100% a pantser. Sometimes people are call themselves pantsers, but they are willing to do some plotting or story prediction ahead of time. So just figure out, are you really a pantser, or is it possible that there's a few ideas that you can jot down before you start writing? Maybe even when you sit down in the morning, can you jot down what this scene is going to be about? Is it possible you could just do a chapter by chapter beats, like not a formal outline or nothing long, but just this happens in this chapter, this happens in this chapter. It might also be that you just can sketch that you want the character to start here and end here in the book. So just figure out if you are actually a pantser or if there are some small plotting things that you can do. The second piece of advice is a bit of a word of warning, and that is, if you're a pantser, you are going to have to embrace the revision process. You're going to have to love editing, because this is the point where you're going to make sure that you're hitting all of the beats, you've covered all the plot points, and that you have character arcs. So if you're a pantser and you're like struggling against your process and you just want to write, lean into your process. Stop fighting your process, lean into your process, go ahead and just write the book and know that now, okay, here's the things that I usually miss in writing, and here's what I have to look for in edits. And this is where having an editing process can really, really, really help you. So when I talk about an editing process, I mean having a checklist that you follow, knowing exactly where you're going to start. Now, my recommendation for starting with edits is to start by asking yourself questions as you reread the book the first and maybe second time after you have written it. So after you've hit the end, you're going to come back and you're going to read and maybe reread, and you're going to just ask yourself questions and write out lots of notes about things that were confusing, things that were missing, things that weren't clear. You're going to start noticing in those rereads, where are the beats missing? Where are the plot points not covered or resolved? What character arcs are missing? So yes, you are going to be doing a lot of editing and revising if you're a pantser. You're not going to get to the end and just hit publish or send it to your editor or even your critique partner. You're going to want to read through it first. So that's a couple of pieces of advice. One other thing is, you may find that you're a pantser because you've hated the way that people have told you to plot. And so it may be that there's other ways of plotting that you weren't aware of that might work for you. So it's always a good idea to just explore what other ways of plotting are there. You know, do I like sticky notes, and can I move sticky notes around? Do I want something digital, and would I love to do storyboard plotting or comic plotting? So there's so many different ways of plotting that it may be that you're a pantser right now because you haven't hit on the right way. But it may be that you're just 100% a pantser, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Embrace it, and then embrace the editing.